Hey everybody, we're live talking Habs trades. So we've got it's kind of a brand new thing I'm doing. I'm trying out this new service that I'm going to be using. So we're here tonight. I've got Jeff from Goalie Girlz Rule. I got Shamir Ravji. He is a subscriber and he's been on the podcast a bunch of times. And if he can fix up his tech, I have a special guest in Harry Rice. He does some Habs podcasts, after game podcasts, and stuff like that. That's not for me. Bear with me. It's a new service, and I'm getting used to using it. So we're going to talk today. There's a trade today. So Montreal traded for Eric Staal from Buffalo in exchange for 2 draft picks, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our thoughts on any other trades that might be in the pipeline. Right now, I'm going to bring in my podcast partner, and for all you regular viewers of my channel, you know Jeff, Goalie Girlz Rule. That's Jeff, and here he comes. Hang on a sec. Jeff, how's it going, buddy?
Not bad. And yourself?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk trades tonight? What do you think about the Eric Staal trade?
I think it's good. I can't see how it hurts. Like
you don't want to pat yourself on the back at all?
I'll save that for later.
Oh, okay. I'm going to lead right in with that. Okay, so we're going to also bring in, since Harry's still having trouble with his tech. I don't know what's going on he's delayed and he's having trouble getting his tech together. Going to bring in our other guest here. That's Shamir Ravji. Most of you people who are familiar with the channel, you'll know Shamir from the live streams and from the podcast. So here he comes. Hey, Shamir, how's it going? Say hi to everybody.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Jeff. Hello, everyone out there. I'm, the dark shadow, this evening. While rocking the barber pole jersey. I mean, we got to represent, bring back the barber pole.
He's our Habs heavy. He's our Habs heavy. You screw around with the Habs, Shamir's coming after you.
Especially if you disrespect the barber pole.
There you go. Don't disrespect the barber pole. So it's. I guess we're not going to wait on Harry. As soon as he's available, I'll see him there, and we'll bring him in. I don't know if he's going to get his tech going. I want to say I see Habs Absolute Hockey. Thanks. If you're waiting for Harry, I apologize. He's in the green room, sort of, trying to get his tech going. Troy Evans, how's it going, Troy? Let's see. Price is number 1 goalie in NHL. How's it going? Randy N, Mitch Beland, and Pablo. How's it going, you guys? Let's see. Let's see if this works. Hey, there you go. Look at that. Brought up somebody's comment. All right. Love this. Love this new service. All right. So we're going to talk. Hey, David Arthur, how's it going? So we're going to talk some trades. Hey there, RPM. Okay. So let's get your Shamir, since Jeff gave his initial opinion of the deal. What do you think about this deal for Eric Staal?
I think it's a good trade. We didn't really have to give up much. It's if the Sabres are covering most of his salary, I don't know how much, but it seems like a win-win for the Habs, and it shores up, the center. And if, certain people have to move out onto the wing, or if Staal ends up playing the wing, I think it can still work out pretty nicely for the Habs.
I think he can play the wing. I'm not sure. I imagine he's going to play some center, but I don't think he's strictly going to be. Anyway, we'll find out soon. I don't know what the lineup's going to be, but what do you think, Jeff? You think he's going to play strictly center or what?
I think he's probably going to move wherever they need him to move. He can pretty much play the wing and center. And like I've seen somewhere in the comments, I'm not sure if it was on your video or one of Scotia Canadians' videos, that all this spells the end of Jake Evans. I don't think it does. I don't know. Yeah. There's no reason that Staal can't play the wing and take faceoffs when he needs to, right? Like
That's what I think is going to actually be. Personally, I was talking to somebody a friend of mine actually in BC. We were just talking on the phone earlier, and I said to him, I think personally you're going to see Evans at center and Perry and Staal on the wings. And, Staal can even start out taking the face-off at center and switch to the wing. I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. So, yeah, I don't think it's the end of Evans at all.
I don't think so either. And also, we don't know who has COVID. If there's any lasting effects to KK or Armia, we pretty much know it's one of those two players. Staal can fill in for them, especially if they're having issues with, with stamina or anything too, right?
That's right, 100%. I was thinking of that earlier. If it's KK, which I think it's Armia, but if it's KK, you've got that extra guy there and the experience. And I mean, this can't be a bad move. I don't know how anybody can think this is a bad move considering what they gave up, which was next to nothing. Plus, they're paying most of his salary left. I mean, half of it. I don't know. Like, I think that the 50% that they're retaining, half of it is from earlier in the season. I don't think they're retaining all of the salary left over.
I'm not sure how that works. Either way, like they got Staal for a few $100,000 basically.
Yeah, under $500,000.
Yeah, and I looked on Cap Friendly and it said that the Habs were now $400,000 under the cap. So,
and they were about 800,000. They're at 450 now. So that's why I'm quite sure that they're paying some of Staal's salary, but it still leaves them with not enough really to do anything to bring in Caufield. I see Pablo is mentioning that in there. Can you guys see the comments?
No.
Oh, it's just me. Okay. They're still gonna have to be a move here, because if they are going to bring Caufield up to the Habs, they gotta have room for him, and you got to figure Caufield is going to make the league maximum for his ELC. I would think. I don't think it's going to be much under that. So
I don't know.
Another move. What do you guys think? Do you think there's another move happening?
I think I think after.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Shamir.
Sorry, you go ahead, Jeff. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say, I think they're going to have to bring in a defenseman, especially for the left side. I don't know if it's going to be Ekholm. That would be the right move, I think, because we've got some dead weight on the roster that we're probably either going to keep next year because we're losing guys like Tatar, or we're going to have to move on from someone like Lehkonen or a Mete. So if they could package Mete and Lehkonen and maybe something picks or something to get an Ekholm, I think that would be the right move to make, because his contract's not bad. Pretty sure, especially in the offseason next year, they can figure out a way to get back under the cap and keep him on the roster. And they also, he's got an extra year, and that fits into what we're doing perfectly, in my opinion. But then I've heard things like Vince Dunn and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. They definitely need help on the left side defense, and it's never bad to have defensive depth, especially going into a playoff run.
Yeah, and you know that Bergevin knows that. He means the defenseman, so you know that. What do you think, Shamir, about the what we're talking about?
Well, once Armia and KK are back, once they're testing negative for COVID, it's probably going to take them a while to get back to 100%. So yeah, somebody like Staal will help out in the meantime. But in terms of clearing salary, yeah, it's going to be the usual ones that have been named, like Lehkonen, maybe even Armia still. Yeah. It could, and also, Byron. Let's not forget the Habs have just been desperately trying to get rid of Byron's salary as well, and that could also clear quite a bit. Mind you, it's going to be an off-season move at this point.
I would think,
but especially if they're going to be, maybe giving some raises to other players and maybe bringing in, help, seeing what's out there on the free agent market or see what trades that they can make. Yeah, but definitely, and also just as you were talking about Caulfield, hopefully that they don't have to use him for too many games, that it ends up burning off his first year of the ELC. But hopefully the Habs aren't in a position to desperately use somebody like Caulfield for more than what is it, like 6 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is this year.
Yeah,
It's
so hopefully
this year.
so hopefully the Habs won't be in that situation. I'd still like to see what Caulfield has to offer the first, let's say, less than 6 games, and maybe like put him on the taxi squad or send him to Laval, because we can't rush this guy. I mean, we've rushed people in the past and it hasn't helped.
I
Those
saw an
guys.
interesting theory with for Caulfield that kind of might make sense. Don't, like, when he signs his ELC, don't bring him up to Montreal. Put him in Laval. See how he starts off there in Laval. If he does okay there in Laval, bring him back for the last 6 games, because then can't burn the first year of the ELC because the playoff games won't count as far as burning his ELC. So I could see that even being something where, yeah, they don't bring him in right away. They give him a little bit of a look-see in Laval, and if he looks good there, yeah, he might show up here, depending on what goes on at the deadline, right? If they might make moves where they need a guy, they might need him to come in. But yeah, I don't know. I think for the Habs fans, they're all dying to see him up here, but I think it might be a mistake to bring him in too quickly.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it'll be a huge mistake if it's only for a few games at the end of the year. I think what the mistake would be is going into next year, having him penciled into the lineup and then expecting him to make it through a whole season like we did with KK and numerous guys in the past. To bring him in right now at the end of the season and maybe even some games in the playoffs, I don't think that'll hurt the kid a whole lot. I think it may actually even give him a little confidence boost for a full season next year. But I really don't think they should expect him to make a full NHL push next year. I think a taste here and there is kind of how they should approach it. Like, he should be like the first man up out of Laval when there's an injury or something like that, and be smart with them. I think Harry's able to come in now there.
I've got him up. If he's in, he'll show up. He's up.
Hello, everybody.
Harry, how's it going?
Going great. Thank you for having me.
Good.
I appreciate it.
Your delay's off. Listen, your camera's off. I don't know if you've got it turned off or. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hello.
Introducing Harry Rice. So I've only checked out Harry's live streams once, to be very honest. But he's a Montrealer. He does post Habs games, live streams, and we brought him in here. Give him let everybody take a look at him. We've never really spoken, have we? And Harry's probably you'll probably see him up here on occasion. Going forward, we haven't had a chance to talk. That's why I don't know what to say about that without talking to him first. So, Harry, since you're in here, before I get you, I just want to say a couple, like, I see the chat, nobody else does. I want to acknowledge a few people. Morgan Burton, how's it going? Benedict Downing, Ronald Garner. Who did I miss? Hey, Max, how's it going? Izzy, how's it going, Izzy? All right, let's see if I can. We're going to get to comments after. So we're going to let Harry talk. We're still going to talk a little bit, and I'll get to comments. It's just that I'm new to doing all this and running everything, so you guys got to have patience. So, Harry, we're talking about the trade. What do you think of the trade for Eric Staal?
I love it. I love you guys pretty much said everything that I think there is to say about the Staal trade. It's a great trade to get a potential fourth line center who could step into that third line, as I believe it was both Jeff and Shamir said, if Kotkaniemi isn't ready yet due to COVID, he can step into that third line center role. He's great on the left wing as well. I think giving up only a third and a fifth for Eric Staal is a great way to acquire the depth that we got free agency with Corey Perry and Michael Frolik, who I did see a comment. They said Frolik probably doesn't like this trade, and I agree.
No. I don't think he does.
No.
Yeah, so Eric Staal, a great depth guy for us, I think. Big fan of this trade. Bergevin, as I said on Twitter, Bergevin strikes again.
He does strike. Do you think there's going to be another move here after this?
Oh, absolutely. Bergevin said, there's no moves coming at the deadline. He's shown himself to be a liar, said he wouldn't trade Subban, then traded him for Weber like 3 days later.
Hey, this didn't happen at the deadline, so he's not lying.
Oh, that is true. That is very true.
To be honest, most people in the last week or so, when he said that just the other day or yesterday, that there's nothing happening. When he says that, there's something happening. He's working on something.
I've learned not to trust Bergevin with those types of comments.
It's not to trust. He just doesn't show his hand. He's not going to show his hand.
I think he's just very literal when they say, is there something going on? Well, no, right now I'm sitting here talking to you in the media, so obviously nothing's going on.
I don't think it's that.
Just say everybody's an untouchable, and that really increases their trade value when that time comes. I mean, there was that whole speculation as to what the Sens were doing a few years ago.
He's playing poker. He's got a good bluff face. And he doesn't show his hand, and he keeps his cards close to his chest, and that's the way he's always been. So it doesn't surprise me. And you know what? Here's something I do want to talk about, because I want to say the comment I was going to say was the change in the quarantine thing. That's what opened the door, if you ask me. But I was talking to my friend Pat in BC, and he was telling me he was just reading an article from the Gazette from today that said that the government decided not to go with this plan. So there's still apparently 14 days to quarantine, but I don't think this trade happens, and Staal doesn't waive his no trade clause because he wasn't going to for a 14-day quarantine.
I don't know if
has anybody heard that?
No,
what I just said?
heard.
Nobody's heard that?
That's the first I've heard.
Yeah. The only thing I heard was that he didn't want to be traded because he didn't want to quarantine anywhere. I did hear that before, but I don't know if any of you guys check out Melody. Is it Martin?
Yeah, I didn't watch her video. I saw it up there.
I watched her video today, and I mean, it's kind of how excited we are. She was just as excited to get rid of Eric Staal. So I don't know if that's good or bad. She was not a Staal fan, but she also wasn't a fit.
I don't think it was a fit there for him. It wasn't a good experience for him. I think he was happy as hell to get out of there.
So, but at the same time, like she qualified it as saying like it's kind of been a natural rivalry as him being in Carolina for so many years when Buffalo was actually kind of good. So she never liked him from that. It'd be like us getting, I don't know, like Milan Lucic or something now, or Chera kind of deal, I think. Yeah, she don't like Staal.
Maybe that's why he wasn't a fit. Maybe he didn't find it very welcoming there in general, right?
I think it'd be hard for any player this year to feel welcomed in a new city. Like don't get Corey Perry gotta feel welcomed here. Yeah, but it wouldn't. I don't think it'd be the same as it would be in normal years where there's fans and there's interaction and this is a good year for those players that have issues with that stuff and dealing with the public and stuff like that. This is the year like where you can see players that have issues like that actually maybe having some breakouts because there isn't the pressure of 18,000 people watching them every night.
Morgan Burton put in Canadian government okays the reduced quarantine. So I don't know where the Gazette puts out an article like that.
The Gazette's kind of questionable sometimes. Reporting. I like them, but
questionable sometimes.
I like them.
He probably just likes reading the editorial pages, and that's about it.
I used to deliver the Gazette many years ago, but
and Harry's sitting there going, "What's a newspaper? What?" Yeah.
We got a question from Jackson Rember. I'm going to put it up on the screen. He says, "Hey, Jeff, Rick, Harry, Shamir, Who's your favorite Hab on the team now? Everyone knows mine is Nick Suzuki. I'll go start with Harry. Harry, who's your favorite team on the Hab on the team now?
Oh, this is a really tough question because I've had so many that I just love watching. But I think honestly, my favorite is probably Corey Perry. I just love watching Corey Perry this season.
Oh, Jeff loves that one.
I can't say anything bad about the way he's played in Montreal.
You can't. You just can't. Shamir, who would you say?
Well, I've been a Price fan for the last, since the beginning of his career, and he's still my favorite current, Hab on the team.
Jeff?
Well, I got to qualify this. Carey Price is my favorite Montreal Canadian and has been for the last few years. But my favorite player that plays out, not in the net, is probably Tyler Toffoli. And if you went back and looked at our podcast for the last little while, you would have heard me ranting and raving about Toffoli and hoping to get him before he actually was here, and then we got him. So it's hard for me not to pick Toffoli, especially when he's on pace to score 50-some goals this year in a regular 82-game season.
Yeah, no, listen, you know what? There's a bunch of good picks, and you're not wrong almost anybody you say, right? So let's see if we can find another question. I just want to get to a few of the so that people don't feel they're left out. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. Okay, Morgan also says, funny Buffalo couldn't get more for Staal, even eating salary. What was their motivation, I guess. I wonder. Bergie with the Staal tactic?
He had no movement clause.
He had no trade clause.
Yeah. So he basically...
And maybe there wasn't a ton of interest in Staal.
Was that your neighbor?
That's not me.
No, okay.
I don't know where that came from, but I'm hearing that over the air there. I wanted to ask a question and now I forgot. Okay, so let's talk about actually where we think, because there's going to be other moves. I got to think there's more moves happening if he can make them, right? I mean, we all, as fans, we all had when he doesn't make a move, but just because we want something to happen doesn't mean he can do it. I'll go 1, 2, 3. We'll start with Harry again. Harry, what do you think could be, say, in the works? What's your ideas?
Wow.
Put you on the spot, didn't I?
Another great question. Yeah, you did. I was just listening. I was like, okay, I got to think of this. Obviously, I think a move for a defenseman, as everyone is expecting. I think with Sherrod being out, that really put a hole in our plans. I'm going to go with a bit of a hot take. I don't think we're going for Matthias Ekholm. And the reason for that is that Bergevin doesn't go for the big names like free agency. You don't see him going after Matt Duchene, John Tavares, Taylor Hall. You see him going after the more low-key guys like Tyler Toffoli in a way, who wasn't really getting that much attention until he signed with us. And, guys like Corey Perry and that sort of thing. I don't think we're going for Matthias Ekholm, but I definitely do think a defenseman like Vince Dunn, or there's another name I had, like someone like a Vince Dunn, I think could be on their way to Montreal soon.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Shamir, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, we definitely got to plug that defensive hole there. But in terms of other moves, I see probably, especially those with expiring contracts at the end of the season, maybe being targets to being moved and clearing up salary because, Lehkonen obviously has been mentioned a lot. We've got RPM.
Hey,
no comment on that one.
I don't want to get political, but that'd be the first thing Trudeau's done in a couple of years that I like.
And now that with the new quarantining rules and everything, I think that perhaps I don't know how much more likely it means that the Bergevin gets more aggressive. Let's say with somebody like Glendening, for instance.
I think
That's out now that Eric Stahl's here. I don't
Wow.
no, Glendening got to be out at this point. I would think. Yeah. Oh, so Jeff, go ahead. You give your opinion of what's next.
I think Ekholm is next. Like against what Perry said, it's not that Bergevin never went after those players. He always seems to be in on it.
Right.
He's just never willing to pay the price for it.
Right. That's true.
They were always he wanted to talk to John Tavares. John Tavares didn't want to talk to him.
No, but wait.
Right?
Both Tavares and Duchesne both used Montreal to negotiate with the teams they signed with, and they just used Montreal. So
Sebastian Aho.
There's another one, right?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I think Ekholm is probably the next target. Will we get him? I don't know. It's really going to come down to the cost. But it's how many years have we been waiting for someone that's able to play with Shea Weber? And I really do feel like this is make or break for Bergevin. And if he has the bullets in the gun to pull a trade off like that, and it makes them into an Eastern Conference final team, I think he does it.
Okay, my opinion is this. I'm going to agree with Harry in that I don't think it's going to be Ekholm, and I'll tell this is why. I think another player has to move to make some salary room. I think they go after a guy like Vince Dunn, and you see somebody like either an Aria or a Lehkonen move, who's making a little bit more than Dunn. So you get rid of your salary the salary you need to bring Dunn in. You also move enough salary that probably allows you to bring Cole Caufield up when he signs. And I see them going after a guy like that a guy like Dunn who can also do the job that maybe not exactly in Ekholm, but I think he gets the job done. We retain control because it's an RFA. I think that makes a difference here. So I kind of see it more along those lines. And almost always the guy we all look for him to get, that's not who he goes after. It's somebody else. So,
that's true. That is true.
So I'm looking at it like that, and I think Vince Dunn right now is pretty much the name. I can't think of another name that's out there, but there's probably more guys we're not thinking of. But yeah, I think he goes somewhere along the lines of that.
Well, the other point of that too is that there's someone going to pop up on this trade deadline that nobody was expecting too, right? Like there's going to be a move or two that nobody's talking about, and that could be the case. But I think Ekholm, like his contract is pretty attractive for the type of player he is. And that's where I think the value, like Bergevin might bite on that because of the value in that contract. Like what's he getting? Like $3.5 million?
3.75, I think. Next year.
Like,
one more year left on that.
Isn't that what we're paying Sherratt? Right? Like Ekholm's a much better player than
Sherratt's getting 3.5, but I mean it's virtually the same.
Right? And who would you rather have right now, Sherratt or Ekholm? I think I'd rather have Ekholm.
Oh, no, without a doubt. I don't think
right?
Ekholm fits the job that you need for that guy to do better than Sherratt does by far. So, yeah. Here, I'm going to put up, here's a comment by Daryl Adams. Rick, Jeff, Harry, and Shamir, with getting Staal, you think they try to trade Danault and Tatar? Who wants to lead on that? You guys
go. Somebody else go.
I'll open it, I guess.
Go ahead, Harry.
I'm gonna go with the safe bet. I'm gonna say absolutely not. On Danault, Tatar, maybe. I do think there could be a potential for trading Tatar, but I don't think we'd want to necessarily touch the Tatar-Danault Gallagher line, which has been playing good the last couple games when they were put back together. I could see us maybe trying to move Tatar. I think Danault we will want to try and keep, personally.
I agree with that, actually. I do. Since it's unusual, I'm going to go next. You know what? I really agree with Harry there. I think at the deadline, I could see them moving Tatar, and that's the way they clear that salary out, because that'll move it'll move out the money that they need. And they might get something back for him. So I can see that's a possibility. The problem with that for me is if you're making a playoff run, is that really a good thing to move Tatar? So depending on if there's anybody coming back or not, I don't know. But I kind of agree, though, that Tatar would be going before Danault. I don't see them going on Danault. I think Danault's priced himself out of that big range that he wanted. And I think he's going to be affordable, and I think they're going to try to sign him. That's what I think. Who's next of Shamir and Jeff now? You guys fight it out.
All right.
Go ahead, Shamir.
Yeah, I think definitely Tatar is probably the more likely of the two to get traded, mostly because Danault is really the only one still on the team that's doing well and winning faceoffs. I don't know what Suzuki's numbers have been on that of late. I mean, I think he's been getting better, but I don't know overall this season how, I haven't seen updated numbers, but that's still Danault's trump card, and that's still likely his ticket to staying on this team, if things keep going the way they are, especially with faceoffs. And also with Tatar, it's just really, he's more the bigger, it's more, he's just the bigger target there in terms of clearing up cap space for sure. So, I think I'm going to, I can't really break with the consensus so far in this room on that.
I'm sure Jeff can. Jeff, can't hide from this now.
I was just letting everybody go. I like having the last word. Haven't you figured that out yet, Rick?
Okay, it's okay. You got it.
The smart guy to get rid of would be Tatar, because no matter what, Danault was basically still the best center on this team at overall. He's a jack of all trades. That KK, he takes the pressure off the other two, right? So I don't think KK and Suzuki are far enough along yet to ditch Danault. So I think they're going to try and re-sign Danault. Tatar is probably the guy if they do move someone. But I think it could be Armia. I think they could move on from Armia because Ducharme's given him an extended role here, and Armia hasn't really done a whole lot with it. And he may be attractive to another team that possibly could want to try and re-sign him in the offseason. And it helps free up some, really in a way, we know someone's going to have to go because there's no way they're keeping everyone and giving KK a bonus and Suzuki a bonus. And Gallagher's deal kicks in next year. Petrie's deal kicks in. There's a lot of moving parts. The only thing, I think the only contract we're getting cheaper on is Jake Allen. And who knows if he's even going to be here next year. He may get picked up. So, and the expansion draft. But I don't know. I could see maybe them moving on from someone or even Lehkonen, right? Let's be honest. As much as we all like Arturi Lehkonen, I'm sure there's fans that don't, but he's not a bad player to have on your team. And every team needs a guy like him that's kind of okay at a few things. He's really good defensively. It never hurts to have players like that. No, but he's almost a luxury we can't afford. And to be honest, he's been sitting out games now, and he's been playing on the fourth line all year. Is he really worth a raise next year?
Yeah, no, exactly. And that makes him kind of expendable when you think about it, right?
So I don't know. I don't see them bringing Tatar back next year, but it's still a possibility. I think they probably should keep him for the push to make the playoffs. I don't think he's a guy that's going to help you in the playoffs, though. So maybe they can move on from him and get someone the same amount of money or less money for someone that performs in the playoffs. That might be a move, too. But do you really want to screw around with the chemistry that much?
Here's an interesting comment. I think what Ben's going to do is convince Seattle Byron is the GOAT and take him. I don't think so. I don't think they're.
I was actually going to bring this up. What does everybody think about saying to Ottawa, "Hey, Ottawa, we'll give you Byron in a 3rd round pick for a 6th round pick if you take Byron."
I mean, I guess that could happen. Yeah, I think I guess something we're finding kind of also, I think, is that Byron's also expendable because if you talked about, like, I know for me last year, not this season that just happened, the season before going into it, I was saying that I thought Byron might be expendable and they're going to move on from him. I was getting left and right. No, we got to keep Byron. Got to keep Byron.
Oh, even I said that.
Yeah, no, at the beginning of this season, kind of the same thing. But I think at this point now, I think a lot of people are at a point where I think we can you realize we'd be okay without him, right? He's a Swiss Army knife and all that, but I think we got enough depth now that I think we could move on from him and it'd be okay.
Well, it boils down to this: it's a salary cap league, and you can't keep everyone. All the great teams have had to dismantle at some point and make decisions on what players they're keeping and what players they're letting go. Like Chicago had to do it, LA had to do it. Like there's a ton of teams out there that you just can't keep everyone, right? Geez, even the Leafs had to do it. They had to let go of Kapanen this year, right? Like,
yeah, you got to at some point. Yeah. Here's an interesting. What would you see this comment here from Habs? Absolutely hockey. I would take Byron and a 3rd for Goodbranson and a 2nd. Would you guys go for Goodbranson?
Yep. Big body.
Yeah, but I personally, I don't think I would want to have Goodbranson.
I'd do it.
I don't think so. What do you
He's
think?
young.
How young is he?
I'm not sure. He's got to be, 25, 24?
Okay, I thought he was a little bit older than that.
Maybe he is. I'm not sure. I'd have to look him up.
I don't know. Where would he play? What do you think, Harry? I see you shaking your head. What do you think about Goodbranson?
I mean, Branson is already 29. I just looked it up. So
there you go. I thought so.
Yeah, he's 29. I personally, I wouldn't like that. I don't like Branson that much. I don't know if it's just because he's playing on a bad team in Ottawa, but I don't like what he brings to Ottawa. I don't know if playing him on our first pairing, if that's where we would slot him in immediately, would work for the team. If it means getting rid of Byron, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But Branson, I mean.
And you're getting a 2nd round pick. That's what kind of weighed me on that.
And Bergevin has shown even in weak drafts, him and the scouting can be like, you know what, we're gonna go out and we're gonna grab this gem because why not?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Goodbranson, but the stuff I've usually heard not been great. I don't know. But he puts here this here comment has been playing good D. I thought in Ottawa he had a good start to the season if I was correct reading it, but I don't know. I've just heard bad stuff about him. I don't know. So not for me.
Ottawa, that's your neck of the woods. What do you say, Shamir?
Well, Ottawa had at least 2 opportunities to take him for free, quote unquote, when he was on waivers, and for some reason they just didn't want to take him. So I don't know, like Ottawa was the most talked about destination for Byron just because it was his hometown and they just had a ton of cap space that could take on that contract, but. Ottawa right now, they just, so far this season, they've just been balking at that.
I don't know.
I just don't see why they would just really want, something, asking us, want us to make them an offer when he was there for the taking.
Well, because you're sweetening it with a 2nd or a 3rd round pick, right? Which is Ottawa wants picks. That'd be the only way.
No, there's also a reason why he might not have gotten taken off of waivers. Is that when you take a guy off waivers, you got to keep him on your team for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
If you allow the guy to be waived and he clears, then you trade for him you can then put him on your taxi squad right away, and you don't have to deal with that.
That's true.
I think that's probably why Byron didn't get picked up by anybody. But then again, they didn't try to trade for him, as far as we know anyway, after he cleared. So I don't know. But that is a good reason why people might not have wanted to pick him up.
Well, I think the big part is his salary for the next what's he got 2 more years after this year?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why most people would want him. Question on the board. We were talking about defense. What do you think about David Savard? Do you think the Habs will try to trade for him? Since we were talking about defensemen, what do you think about David Savard? Columbus Blue Jackets.
I love him. He's a great defenseman. I don't think they're going to get him though.
And he makes a good bit of money. He's not cheap, David Savard, if I'm correct.
I can't remember. I did look it up like a week or two ago.
He's not super cheap. Here's one that I don't think Snakes on a Plane understands. Okay, it sucks how we're dealing with this Alsner contract buyout. It'd be nice to have that extra $3 million penalty, I believe. What would you guys say to that? I like Harry's smile on this. Harry, go ahead.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. But I think buying out Alzer is probably the best choice. Like, it's nearly $4 million this year, yes, but next year it goes down to $2 million, I believe. Then it's, I think, $985,000 for the next 2 seasons.
$833.
I think I'd prefer. Oh, 833. Yeah. I think I'd prefer an Alzner buyout compared to having the nearly full $4 million, whatever it is, on our salary cap for the next season.
But that's the point. If they didn't buy him out, they'd have actually been, the difference would have been $350,000 this year. So it's neither here nor there really this year whether they bought him out or not. And next year they saved $2 million. So I think it's a good move. I'm thinking he doesn't understand that fact that the salary and putting him in the minors, what you get with relief, it was still going to be almost $4 million against the cap, and the difference is like $350,000. It's not much difference.
The difference is you keep Alsner this year, you don't have Corey Perry. That's the difference.
No, this could be. I mean, it's just that I don't think that it was an effect.
And the thing this season so far, watching all the Habs games, it's just been, those Corey Perry moments, right?
He has one a game.
Exactly.
Corey Perry, usually, one moment a game. Go ahead.
I was just to say, like, his one moment usually always ends up being something pivotal, too. Like, it's not like he wastes his moment. He always seems to do something, makes a nice pass or something. It's just like, man, I don't like this guy. But he's not doing the greaseball stuff, so I can't say anything about that. He hasn't been doing it.
Or the dumb penalties.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. The Habs depth will be tested in the that one I couldn't stop. In the next couple of months, squeezing 4 more games into an already packed schedule is going to be nuts. Who's your dark horse call-up candidate that will impress?
Paling.
That's it? You're just going to Paling, throw. That's it?
Paling.
Like a spaghetti, throwing it on the wall, see if it's
Somebody run! Take it!
Harry,
who's got the sauce?
Harry looked ready to go.
I think Paling could do well.
Got the pepper?
Okay, why?
I think Paling. I think Paling has. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I do think Paling definitely could impress on the call-up. I have not seen him playing, but I hear he's doing good in Laval. So I think maybe he has. Sorry.
He picked it up. He had a slow start, but he's doing well now in Laval. Yeah.
All right. Like if he's picking it up, I think he could probably try and carry that momentum into Montreal. But I'm gonna go a bit of a different route. I honestly think if he's given the call up, I think Caden Primo could do well once he comes back from injury. I think if you wanted to maybe give a few games to Caden Primo, let him test the NHL waters, I think it'd be a nice breath of fresh air to the Habs blue line. Bring in Romanoff obviously at the start of the season. Now bring in Caden Primo. I think could definitely help.
Wait, Caden Primo's the goalie. You mean Cale Fleury?
Or Caden Gooley, sorry. Caden Gooley, sorry.
But Caden Gooley is playing back. Isn't he back with Everest?
He's back with his junior team
Uh,
or something like that.
Yeah, he's
Oh, I
back
thought
with
he-
the junior team. Yeah, because they started up. WHL started up. He had to go back. And I don't know.
Okay, so
They
that's
can't call him up from the juniors like that, can they?
no, I don't
don't-
think so.
No, so it wouldn't be Caden Gooley.
I was looking on Cap Friendly. I was wondering why has he only played 3 games?
Next year, I think Caden Gooley's got a shot next year.
I don't want to rush him. Defensemen and goalies, I'd rather they take their time.
I get it, but I think he's got a shot. I really do. I think his development's going to go fast. Personally, I think that.
I think preseason he's going to get ice time in preseason 100%, and I think he's going to impress. Like I agree with you, Rick. I think he's going to impress for sure.
So now that you didn't have the right guy, you got another answer to that?
Yeah. Great way to get me in on the podcast. What a great way for me to make my impression with your fans. I think Cameron Hillis, honestly.
Who?
I think Cameron Hillis, if we want to give him a call up, he's I think Cameron Hillis, like if you want to risk it, I think he could maybe turn a few heads. I think he could be kind of what Cale Fleury was last year. I mentioned this in some of my reviews last year. Cheap little plug. I'm sorry.
Okay, don't worry. You can plug.
Go for it.
But I think Cale Fleury. I said it last year. I really liked what Cale Fleury showed when he was called up to the NHL, and I think if you wanted to maybe try the same thing with Cameron Hillis, give him a couple games, see how he looks at first. I'd like that. I even though I think he's played 3 games this year and no points, I believe. Yeah, 2 games, no points. Because I believe he's injured. I think once he's healed up, if he's healed up before the end of the season, I think you could definitely give him a couple games. This 4th line center, maybe playing him with say Perry and say not Mete, say Byron or something like that, rotating some guys out. I think he could work well with that. I think he could work well with those guys.
Okay, cool. But Shamir, you got anybody?
Well, Paling, definitely would be next man up in this situation. But Cale Fleury would probably be, perhaps somebody, or maybe Joel Teasdale.
I don't think Teasdale though. Teasdale still kind of he lost so much developmental time. I don't know what he would be. Oh, he's playing well though, from what I understand, but still. But yeah, it's an interesting name, Teasdale.
Where's Picard at this year? I haven't looked him up.
Pinard, you mean Harvey?
Yeah,
Pinard?
yeah.
Harvey Pinard's doing well, actually. I believe that kid is going to be a Montreal Canadian and an NHLer. When they drafted him, I was like, this kid's going to be good. I love what I saw in the Memorial Cup from him. But he's doing well. He's playing on a line with, I believe, with Paling, if I'm correct. He's playing with Paling.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out a name that I've been reading about today, actually, a lot. Jesse Alonen looks really good these days. And I could see a guy like that coming up, possibly if there's some reason that they would have to call somebody up. He's been playing really well. He looks really good. He's got as many points already. So far with the Rocket as he had all of this early part of the season with where was he playing? The SHL, I think,
I'm
or
not sure.
Finland, wherever he was playing. So yeah, my thing, I guess I'll say Jesse Alonen. There you go. Not too bad.
I'm just gonna say one thing here.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of this college hockey today, and if people really think Caulfield's gonna come in from that level of hockey and put up 40 goals in the NHL right off the hop, that's asking a lot. Like, I think people need to step down the expectations a little. Like, I'm watching this, and this is the best 4 teams or whatever, and man, there's a ton of mistakes going on. I feel bad for some of these goalies.
What are you watching?
I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching. They got the Frozen 4 on.
Okay.
I was watching the Massachusetts game. I think it switched games here. I don't know who it is now. North Dakota versus American something. Anyway,
they're all American.
Yeah.
As far as I wanted to say something about I said it in the last video or the video, not the last one, but the video the other day. That exactly. 20-year-old kid coming in to be the savior. When has that happened ever?
Oh, it happens with guys like McDavid and Crosby. It doesn't happen. Usually, it doesn't
Right.
happen with your 15th overall pick.
But I'm just saying in general. I mean, it's
I
not
mean, it
something
can.
if you're looking and saying, "Oh, Caufield's coming in to save us," then we got bigger fucking problems than that. No, I mean, there's
Yeah.
big problems if that's the case, right?
Well, and it's also too like Caulfield wasn't really ever. I don't think he was ever playing ahead. Like guys like McDavid and Crosby and McKinnon, they all played like when they were like PWH, they were playing Bantam. I don't think Caulfield was ever in that situation. I think he played his age level every year. I'd have to go back and look to make sure. Maybe somebody in the comments knows that and can correct me on it. I'm not sure, but
Well, I think
usually
his size would say that. I mean, just being his size, he couldn't play
Yeah.
that far up above. No,
Well, Crosby did it. Crosby was like 13 years old playing Bantam or something like that. He was playing against.
he was the as the size. I mean, Cole Caufield's size. Crosby's bigger.
He wouldn't have been much bigger than he is now. Or, I mean, he would have been quite a bit smaller as a
Yeah,
young teenager going up against 16-year-olds.
yeah. But the point still being that it's not going to happen. I hope if Caulfield gets here and he does well, that's all I want. Show that he's an NHLer. That's all I'm expecting first year.
I want to see if he can get his shot off in the NHL. That's what I'm interested to see.
I mean, 5-on-5.
Yeah, and if he can find the space out there that he needs.
What do you think?
Because
Okay, go ahead. Finish up your.
I was just going to say, like, the NHL guys are going to know where he wants to go on the ice, and there's more speed and more talent in an NHL game than there is in college or World Juniors or anything else.
True.
So they're going to be able to take away what he wants to do out there. Can he adjust to it?
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Harry? We haven't ever. I don't think we've heard anything. Your opinion on Caulfield?
I love Caulfield. I haven't watched too much college hockey just because I don't have the resources to do so. But from looking at highlights, love Caulfield, and I definitely think the not necessarily criticisms, but just the questions I definitely think are very valid if he can adjust to the NHL level, if his size is going to be an issue. Personally, obviously, you hope he can because he's a Habs prospect, but I do think that he definitely has what it takes to adjust, and whether it's just because of his size or if it's guys starting to figure out how he shoots and being able to adapt to that, I definitely think Caulfield is going to be able to adjust to the NHL. I think he's going to be. I don't want to compare him to Phil Kessel, but I think he's going to be similar to Phil Kessel in that he's a power play specialist. He scores a lot of his goals on the power play, and I guess you could say kind of like Ovechkin, since they both kind of score mostly on the power play.
But that's a good thing. I mean, that's where he's going to get most of the points, you'd think, for sure. Yeah. Shamir, what do you think about how Caulfield will adjust?
Well, I think that with Caufield is, I think he'll adjust, but we also have to temper our expectations for Caufield because he's not going to come out in his rookie season and have some kind of a Sidney Crosby type season at that stage in his career. I mean, we just got to just get that out of our minds and stop thinking that, because it just seems that whatever Caufield ends up doing, even if it meets expectations in terms of in terms of size or everything, it's just the hashtag Cole Caufield is a bust. That won't be long before that starts making the rounds and everything.
First shift. If he doesn't score on his first shift,
exactly. So
I'm starting it.
So I was looking at you, Jeff, when I made the comment. Yes. But for me personally, I think he'll adjust, but we just got to temper our expectations for him. But I just think that, considering how a lot of people have been saying he's he's going to be the savior, I'm not holding my breath on that.
Yeah, it's never happened before that a kid came in like that and was a savior. For me, I think for Caufield, I want to see that he can play 5-on-5. And I don't mean excel. He doesn't have to excel 5-on-5. If he can hold his own, not hurt you at 5-on-5, I think he's going to be fine because, like Harry said, most of his points are going to come on the power play. I think he's going to play. I think he'll be fine on the power play. I think once he gets into position and he finds a target, that target's going to get hit. Whether the goalie can get there or not, but he'll get his opportunities. It's whether he can play 5-on-5.
Well,
that's going to keep him in the NHL. Honestly, if he cannot play 5-on-5 at his size, I don't know that he can stay. You know that Patrick Laine, he's 6'5". So if he's not doing great 5-on-5, but he's got the size and all that, he can, he'll manage. Caufield, I don't know.
Well,
he'll have
I'll say one thing about Cole Caufield, nice, that he's got a great teacher in Brendan Gallagher to show him what it takes for a guy that's small in the NHL. Like, that's going to be a big deal, I think, in Caufield's development, is having someone like Gallagher to lead him.
And he loves Gallagher. He respects him and all that. I think Gallagher will be his mentor a bit. Do you see this comment here? Chris Bergeron thinks we all need to do this format all together monthly. Listen, we haven't all of us talked about it, but we will. So nothing's set in stone yet. First, I haven't even met Harry before this. So, by the way, Harry, you're doing an excellent job. So, proof is right there in that comment. Well, proof is right there in that comment. So that's good.
I mean, this
thanks everybody if you're enjoying it. I appreciate that. I have no idea what the thumbs up and all that are, but if you're in here, you're having fun, please give a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and that notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. I also want to urge you, head over to young Harry's channel, Harry Rice. It's Harry Rice Hockey. And head over there, check him out.
Rice.
Just Harry Rice. Head over there, check him out, and give him a subscribe too. Because especially if you're looking for stuff after the hockey games, you do a lot of post-game live streams, right?
Yeah, I do post-game after every Habs game. I'm live. I do for most trades. If it's fairly decent, I'll go live.
Well, there you go. So head over and check out Harry Rice there. We'd really appreciate it, and you'll see Harry in this format. Well, I hope. I haven't asked him, but he's doing a great job. So I hope he'll be.
Thank you. I'd definitely be down to come back.
Well, you'll definitely be getting more invitations, and we're not done yet. But I'm not sure how long. I didn't plan this really well, so I don't know how long we're staying. But we're not done yet. Goalie Girlz rule. Goalie Girlz. I was just about to say that. Oh. Ray Buckle was agreeing with you. I didn't read it before I read it out loud. Should have done that. Here's Tony Granato knows what it takes to make it to the NHL, and he says Cole is ready to step right in. RPM will take his word. What do you guys think on that? Here's a guy like Tony Granato who definitely knows the NHL and knows what it takes to be an NHLer. Now, is he biased a little bit because he's his coach?
What do you expect him to say? He's not going to crush the kid's confidence and say, I don't think he's ready.
Well, but wait, he doesn't have to say that. No, I don't think it would crush his confidence for him to say something not as what's the word I'm looking for? As nice as that? I don't even want to say more, but I mean, he could find a nice way to say he might need a little bit more time. Something like, no? Not as
I mean, he could, but it's easier just to say, oh, yeah, he's ready. Right? Then you don't have to deal with nothing.
Well, okay.
If he says, oh, he's not ready, then he's got to deal with the Montreal media and, it's just not worth it.
But from a reputation standpoint, if he goes and says, oh, he's ready, and he comes out and he's not ready, it doesn't make Granato look good.
He's not going to lose his job.
No, that's true, but still. Here, Andrew. Whoops, put the wrong one up. It jumped on me. I agree with this. Granato's a smart hockey guy. He wouldn't BS you. I don't think he would. I think if Granato says it, he believes it. He may not be right. This I can give you, but I think he believes it.
Well, I think I'm not saying that he's not right or wrong, or he's BSing us. I'm just, when you're that closely tied to a player and you believe that they're that talented, of course you're hoping and you believe that they can do it. I wouldn't expect Tony Granato to come out and say, "Oh, Caufield needs to be." I got every animal in the house jumping on me here.
We want to be on camera.
I wouldn't expect him to think less of his player, really, to be honest. Like, he saw Caufield do some pretty special things the last 2 years in college. So
just today, he did some special shit today. I'm telling you.
Right. So, I mean, he's pretty close to the situation now. If I'd like to see what opposing coaches in college think.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a good point. I have a question. I'm going to put this up. I think I got this right. Here, this is a good question. Do you think Habs will start play starting Tuesday, or will be longer because the player has COVID? And not because they have COVID, but because it's an interesting question, because I'll tell you why. When you hear Bergevin talk, when you hear anybody talk from the team, when they say that they're going to start Monday, it isn't we're going to be back on the ice. It's let's hope everything will be fine. Let's hope we'll be able to be back on. I've heard that a few times from them. So, question: it's since it's a variant that the player has, we know the variants are much more. There's my nightly guy.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is. We know that the variants are much more infectious. What do you guys think are the chances that actually they're delayed a little bit longer? I have heard today the update is everything looking good right now. Nobody else has gotten sick. Everything looks good. But what do you guys think? This time we're going to start out with Shamir, because we haven't started with Shamir yet.
Well, my gut tells me it might be a bit longer. I just, don't ask me why. That's what my gut tells me. But I just feel like with the variants and everything, it's just, I just feel like that might be, in a nutshell, I just think it might be longer, and the Habs might be just shut down, into next week.
Yeah. What do you think, Harry?
Yeah, I agree. I do think it'll be a bit longer that the Canadians are shut down, just because I think they're going to want to not rush them back necessarily. They're going to want to take their time and make sure everyone is absolutely safe and healthy, and they're probably going to be shut down, like Shamir said, and then probably into next week, I think, is the safe bet.
From what I understand, though, if nobody else on the team, families, trainers, all that kind of stuff, if nobody else comes down with it, like no more positive tests, they should be able to go on Monday. So I think it's just, does anybody else get it or not? What do you think on that, Jeff? Have you heard anything?
Well, I'm just going by what we've been told 1,000 million times for a year now is the incubation period. And
right,
they're not out of the incubation period as far as I know yet. So
I personally think Monday's like the first day they can be out of the incubation period. So yeah, Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, well then I was going to say I don't think Staal misses too many games. Let's just put it that way.
Well, he won't anyway, but you're right. He may not miss any if depending on how it goes, right? I think at this point he'll miss maybe 3.
And the other point on that too is I saw this. It was a good point. I don't know if it was somebody in one of your comment sections, Rick, or maybe it was Harry Rice. I'm not sure where I saw it, but someone did ask the question, when does the quarantine start for Staal? Once he enters Canada, or start it now?
Somebody actually just put up something in here that said that Staal is leaving tomorrow.
Like he can literally drive to Montreal from where he is. He doesn't
No.
have to go on an airport or anything.
No. No. He can drive to the border. At the border, he will be. He has to spend a week in wherever their situation is there, where they put the people. He has to spend a week there. So, but apparently that won't start till tomorrow. So we're looking at next if they're playing next Saturday, he should be able to play.
No, I mean,
or practice.
Yeah.
So we're looking at something like that. Yeah. So,
I think the league will be a little bit smart and maybe hold off on letting, because this is really the first real actual. Like I know Edmonton had some issues there at the first of the year there earlier in the year with COVID, but it was all false positives. This is an actual positive test, and I think
no, it's not just that it was a positive. He had 2 positives in a row. He has COVID.
Yeah, so whoever it is, like I think the league is going to be. They don't want anything happening in Canada. I mean, our government's pretty strict on a lot of stuff too, right? Like, I'm surprised they allowed. Who was it we were playing? Was it Vancouver? No. What team did we play before when this?
Oh,
Edmonton. We were supposed to play Edmonton.
It was Winnipeg, wasn't it?
But it was
Winnipeg?
Winnipeg just before, it was Vancouver. Excuse me. Me too. I was surprised that there wasn't more over there. Yeah.
I just figured they would have shut them down too, right? Since they were on the ice with them like the day or two beforehand.
But my understanding is they were tested extra, and there were no positive or false positives at all with them. But I would think that they were followed more. I don't know, closely if they can. More closely if they can. I don't know if they can, but yeah. What do you guys think of this here? When they do get back, Montreal's being delayed like this is not only going to cause their schedule to be revamped, but literally all 7 teams in the North Division. So when everything gets back to normal, we're going to actually have a new schedule to end this season. Montreal's going to more than likely be playing almost every set of games. Is going to be 3 games in 4 nights. And Bergevin said possibility of at least once having 4 games in 5 nights. This is going to be tough. What do you think? How do you think that's going to affect their chances to finish the season? Harry's laughing. I'm going to give because of that. I'm giving you first call. Just stop laughing, or you're going to get called on all the time.
I think. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
I have to remember.
I can remember.
Jeff, what was the question?
The question was: how do you feel? What are Montreal's chances? Knowing that their schedule is going to be ramped up here, where they're going to be playing 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 a few times here going down the stretch.
Thank you. I'll be honest. I feel kind of good about it. I think playing sometimes 2 and 3 or 4 and 5, I think definitely could in turn. Obviously, it's going to exhaust some of the Canadians, probably all of them at some point. But I think it's going to give us a lot of momentum if we're playing, say, 4 games in 5 nights, 2 back-to-backs. I'd assume it would be with a break in between. Yeah. I think it definitely gives the Canadians like that kind of boost that they need. It could, because if Toffoli let's just say it's Toffoli, because why not? Say he has a game against Ottawa where he gets a hat trick, and then they play the next night, say in Winnipeg. Let's just say, I'm sorry, Nolan, because I see. Oh, he just left, but he was in the chat. But say he goes into Winnipeg, he could end up potentially getting 2 goals and capitalizing off the night before, and then 2 nights later, go out and have another great game. I think this definitely could. I think it definitely could end up helping the Canadians. I'm going to take it as a positive personally, that I think the Canadians are going to have a great time getting through the rest of the schedule, and I think. I'm gonna say this. I do think the remaining games against the Maple Leafs are going to be some of the most fun for the rest of the season.
Oh, without a doubt. But hey, because your answer made me think of this. Do you think that? Okay, they traded for Staal. They gave up nothing off the roster. So by being able to maybe do that and get minimum guys off the roster to make the moves that they're going to make. This could benefit them in this because they'll have more bodies around to take some, to move guys around and be able to handle this kind of schedule. So added that point in. Jeff, you're up next. What do you think? You think that how it's going to affect them, this tight schedule?
I think it's great because we are built on depth. We're built on rolling 4 lines. And hello, Jake Allen, right? Like Jake Allen it's just going to make him even more valuable. The only bad part is we got a few guys that are older. I think it's going to be harder on Weber. But I think, if they can convince Weber, because Bergevin said this himself, you try and tell Weber that he's playing less, right?
Right. This
may be the way to actually convince him that he has to play less, and that may help us in the long run because he'll be playing more games, but he'll get used to playing 20 minutes a game, and come playoff time, that may be a big deal for him. And I think I'm with Harry. I think it could be a positive. It's going to be harder on some of these older guys. I think it's going to be hard on Price. That's the key to all of this is Price. This could really hurt Price, but it could really help him because I'm not sure what the narrative is. At first of the year, we were saying, Price needs, like after the play-in last year, the return to play, we were all saying, look how great Price is after a rest. And then when he wasn't doing so well this year, we were like, he needs to play more. Like, which one is it? Like, I think this might be a little more consistent for Price where he's playing every second game or every 2 in a row or something. And
it's the tightness of the schedule is going to allow him to still have his rhythm without playing as many games, maybe, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yes.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Just to answer Randy N., I don't know that everybody sees the chat. Harry, you seem to be seeing the chat.
Yes, I am. If you guys are on StreamYard, private chat, beside it says comments, and you should be able to get the YouTube comments right there.
I didn't know that. There we go.
Sorry. I guess because I just figured that out today. The other
and we've also got some Dono hype in there.
Dono for Scott.
Hey,
lots of new names.
I just saw it now up there. I did not see that comment. I apologize. Who did that?
Scott B.
Scott B. Hey, I see it now. Scott B. Thank you so much. So some Scott B hype in the chat, guys, and some Dono hype. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you so much, buddy.
And I meant to say this, and I forgot because I got on to Price, but someone else said it here in the chat. Frolik, we were saying how Frolik may not like the Staal trade. With all these games that they're going to have to play, I'm thinking he's going to play.
That was a point I wanted to make. That's true. So, that was the whole point. That was one of the things I wanted in that. These extra guys and a guy like Frolik, maybe should, he might actually get some games in because of all this.
I think that, I think it can be a positive as well. And also if we had the, in terms of our depth, because we were, getting into, because going into the season, we as Habs fans were saying how the depth is better. And with this compressed schedule, it'll certainly give guys such as Mete and probably Lehkonen more opportunities, on the ice there. Just some fresh legs out there too.
Oh yeah, okay, they can show that. Is that Dino from ICHS Laval High School? Who's Dino? Who is it? Which one of us is Dino? Anyway, I thought I'd show that. Scott B, again, thank you so much for the dono. Some more Scott hype in the room.
Also, just want to say hello to Lucas out there.
I don't know who Dino's supposed to be. Sorry. By the way, Randy N, who's organizing this, it's on my channel. I'm the organizer.
I don't know if you should take credit for that yet, Rick.
Well, I was about to say, please excuse us for maybe some of the mistakes because I'm learning how to do this. It's very easy to use this service, and I love this service. I've got it on it's on free right now, but I'm going to be paying for this service, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of these kind of videos. And I mean, they're called Livecasts now. So a lot more of these different kinds of Livecasts. We're going to do a version of the podcast live like this, as a matter of fact. And I think you're going to see Scotian Canadian. I should have checked. He might have gotten in touch with me. Matt, if you're watching, sorry. Scotian Canadian was supposed to be here tonight, but he's working. He didn't know if he could make it. I'm going to have him on the Joe Folk podcast guys, stuff like that. So this is really going to be nice. Everyone's going to like this. And hopefully we'll put this panel together on a regular basis. I don't mind doing this at all. This is great. Hey, Hot Take's in. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
You're here. Hopefully we'll have John in one day doing this as well. I'd love to have John on. So everybody, that's John from Hot Take. John, if you didn't watch the game last night, at the end, I came in for the third period. If you didn't watch John for the end of the third period and the overtime, you missed something.
John's just here.
Watch. It was
John's just here looking for his mod. He's like, "Where the hell's Harry?"
Right. He was fun to watch last night. By the way, Scott B, again, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. So some more Scott B hype.
More Dono hype.
And more Dono hype in the room. So, yeah, thanks for being here, John. Appreciate it, as always. Now we're looking for topics to talk about. I see I'm cheating because I didn't it was kind of what's the word for that? Off the cuff, not off the cuff, when you do something spur of the moment, deciding to do this today. And I should have sat here and wrote down a whole bunch of things we could talk about. I didn't do that. So we're relying now at this point on the people's comments. You guys, anything you guys want to specifically talk about here? Bring it up now. Or forever hold your peace.
Well, I think I brought this question up before, but in terms of the expansion draft, with Weber's contract being what it is, and the fact that he doesn't have a no movement clause, do you think that we have to protect Weber?
No, I don't. He's got a no movement. You have no choice with a no movement. Unless Weber decides to waive the no movement clause, you have to protect him.
I thought he didn't have one.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I thought you just said he did. I don't know.
No, because I think last time I looked up on Cap Friendly, I didn't see anything next to any of that in terms of no movement clauses. So I think he doesn't have one, unless.
I would say if he doesn't have a no movement clause or no trade, I wouldn't protect him. I don't think there's a chance to take him.
He does not have a no movement clause.
Really?
He does not. So what do you think? So, Harry, since you found that out, you get to weigh in first. What do you think? They protect him or not?
No, I think that his contract is bad enough, keeping in mind that, of course, it was signed as a bad contract by Philly. But personally, I don't think we have to protect Weber. I think Seattle looks at that contract and how much he has left on it and thinks, no, I want good players instead. they probably still take Allen, unfortunately.
Well, on that, I'm not going to say they take Allen. This is why. I think they make a deal with them not to take Allen. Because why sign him to such a beneficial? Like they signed him to the 2 extra years, a couple of million less. Kind of seems like a contract they want, right? I personally, if they don't feel Caden Primo is ready, I hang on to him. So I make a deal. Hey, here's a 3rd round, 4th round pick, whatever it is. You pick this guy.
Here's Paul Byron.
Maybe it's not. That's a possibility. You make that deal. You negotiate, and that's a lot of teams are going to be doing that with them.
Imagine Weber and Subban on the same team. Who knows? If Subban is left on
there's one thing about Weber's contract that I don't think people realize is after this year, his actual salary is $1 million a year going forward.
Yeah,
there's still 6.8 or 7.8 or whatever it is, but his actual salary is $1 million a year, and that is why people think he may retire early, is because he doesn't want to play for $1 million a year for the next.
He won't retire early. I'm going to tell you why I don't think he retires early. By the way, you see that? Chara to the Habs. No.
I saw that. I was gonna call out the troll there. What are you doing, trolling Chara?
Okay.
Come on, man. Come on.
Early. Here's why I don't think he retires early. When the Nashville Predators get wind of the fact that Weber might retire, they dial up the Habs. Hey, listen, we'll give you, who do you want? We're going to give him to you. Trade us Weber back, because they'll put him on the long-term injury reserve list. Because if he retires early, they got one hell of a shit problem in what's it called? Harry, you're shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh my, what's it called? I forget. It's the capital capture penalty.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
So no, I don't think Weber retires from Montreal. Montreal, I don't think has to worry about that at all, because he's not going to. They're going to get a deal with Nashville, because if I'm Nashville, I acquire him and throw him on the long-term injury reserve for whatever. He's got an ingrown toenail, but he's got one. He can't skate. He's on the LTIR. Come on. Are you kidding me? Unless you have like tons of cap room, I mean, maybe. But he still has like 6 years left on his contract. So if he retired next year, that's a long time for them to be paying this, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But no, if he has no movement clause or whatever clause it is, doesn't want to come out. I don't protect him. No way.
No, he doesn't have one. John, Perry knew it, and John confirmed it. So I'll go with those guys.
John says he thinks that Seattle targets Allen or Evans. They could offer up Mete and a pick to keep them away. That's what I think they're going to do. I could see a scenario where Habs give incentive of Mete. Oh, that just jumped. And a pick to Seattle, and Seattle selects Byron. Oh, I see what you're saying. Give them the pick and Mete, take Byron off our hands. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's what they do, because I don't think they want to give up Allen. I don't think they want to give up Allen.
I mean, I think Bergevin's been really smart preparing for this Seattle entry draft, because he's stockpiled picks, and I think that's what they're going to be used for.
Yep. In
the long run, like, is to stave off some of these moves, because to be honest with you, obviously I'm a goalie fan, but I don't want to see Caden Primo in Montreal playing 50% of the games,
right,
until he's probably at least 23, 24 years old.
Right.
And
I just don't. They signed Allen for those 2 years.
Right. Like, it's hard. Goalies take time. Defensemen take time, and they also play longer. Hopefully, Price plays longer. But like, sure, it's great when you get a young kid, but you even look at like Marc-Andre Fleury, his first couple of years, like, it was rough on him, and he was a first overall pick, and we watched him in World Juniors, and he was dominant. I got to see him a ton of times in Cape Breton. It was like, this kid's going to be a superstar, and when he got the NHL, I was like, oh, maybe not, right? But I mean, he turned it around very quickly, and I mean, he won Stanley Cups, and he's been one of the best goalies in the league for the last decade. And every time someone craps on Price, I look to what Fleury has done in resurrecting his career a couple times now. Like, look what that guy's doing this year, right? Like, he's having a phenomenal year. Like, he legit has a chance at winning the Vezina this year.
Yeah, he does.
I see Morgan saying Primo's ready now. We don't know that. We literally don't know that. Like,
no, we don't.
You throw him in there for 30, 40 games, you may find out he's not. And with the roster we have, taking a chance at trying to win a Stanley Cup or be a playoff contender, do you want to put that pressure on a kid right off the hop? If I had the option not to, I'm not going to. Jake Allen affords us that option that we do not have to.
And look, your hot takes comment there. Look at Markstrom and Kemper, for example, especially Markstrom. Panthers lost their patience completely with him too early. And that's it. That could be what happens here if you bring in Primo too early. And he's a goalie. Again, just like Caufield coming in here being the savior this year. Honestly, Primo coming in for next year and then, now you can trade Price. No, I don't see that being a thing at all.
I just hope Price can have a resurrection like Fleury did.
You talking about Price's erection? That's not.
I said resurrection.
Oh. I don't know.
We're past 10 o'clock now, so we can talk about this things, right?
Look, you're even getting a look from the dog, Rick.
Yeah, listen.
Look, she's leaving.
Gotta have some comedy in here. Oh God. Here, this is a good point here too. Look at the year Hart is having this year after being rushed in.
Exactly.
There's a lot of talk. I mean, there's a lot of sense there, right?
I don't want to promote another channel, but Shannon did the hockey guy did a video on Carter Hart the other day, and he went back and he looked at the goalies that came in young and he compared them over like 60 games or 40 games or how many games they played. And he basically proved that it's kind of a trend that you don't want to put a young goalie in the NHL right away. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, it's not a good idea. Like, you can do major damage to their development. Goaltending is a science and it needs to be learned.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, listen, goaltending, there's three positions: goalie, defense, and center. Those three can take longer than a winger.
It takes so much time to learn everything. Like, goaltending is not about reaction time. It's not. Like, if you think goaltenders are good because of reflexes, they're not. Like, all of those guys know what they're doing. It's a calculated, they're taught the calculations of how to fill space and blocking, and that's just what it is. Like, guys aren't getting to the NHL on reflexes alone anymore. It doesn't work that way. Now, there's very few goaltenders in the league now that make more than one or two reactionary saves in a game anymore. They're filling space. That's their job. They know. It's an educated guess, basically. Like, they know where they need to get to and what space they need to be filled. They're trying to fill. It's all from watching video and coaching. Like, reflexes are not what it's. Reflexes back in the 80s and 90s and before that were huge. Now it's a taught. You need the talent and you need the reflexes, but the reflex part of it is it's so minute, because the reaction, like, we know what these players are shooting with these sticks and everything. Like, it's crazy. Like, you can't expect someone to be able to react to something they can't even see with their eye.
Yeah, well, exactly. No, listen, it's not an easy situation, position to bring a young person. Here, John is saying these are the ages in my mind for development for players, and when you maybe give up on a guy. So for a center, 23, defense 24, and goalie 25, 26. And I've said, personally, I don't think you call a guy a bust till he's 25. I mean, guys develop at everybody's different, and guys develop differently, and that's just the way it is. So
my initial reaction to that was 23 is pretty young for a center, but
I think so too.
But at the same time, John's not wrong, because you can tell if someone has the ability, the IQ. Like, center's a pretty high IQ position, right?
Yeah. You can tell at that age, do they have the ability to be the center? They might not be there yet, But you can tell by 23, I think is what he means.
Yeah,
They're not going to be a center at that
they
point.
may get moved to the wing.
Right. But he says giving up on him as a center. And he's probably not wrong there. But I still think in general, you don't really give up you don't call a guy a bust, except in certain, I imagine there are exceptions, but until they're 25. So, yeah. So you guys on the bottom row there haven't gotten in much of this.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for me to call. This isn't classroom where okay, you put your hand up there, Harry. Okay, no, it's not like that. So just chime in sometimes too. Don't be shy anyway to do that.
I'll be right back. I gotta go take a pee break.
No problem.
TMI.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, there was something here. I saw, and where was it? And okay, what's this here? In all positions, I hope that'll change with Bouchard. What's mounding mean here? In Habsland, we have a problem
Molding. I think he corrected himself.
Molding players in all positions. I'm hoping that'll change with Bouchard in the AHL. There's something we can talk about. There's some talk about Bouchard possibly taking a coaching job with another team next season. I mean, I hope not. What do you guys think about Bouchard? I'm going to let you guys. I want you guys to sort of stand up for yourself. I'm going to let you guys decide who the hell's talking first. How's that?
I actually don't mind Bouchard in the AHL. I think he's doing. I think he's doing well, trying to mold the younger players in Laval, and I was just also hoping that with the coaching change, because there's that perception out there that Julien is mostly favors more the veteran guys and doesn't give the younger players the chance to develop. So hoping that Bouchard is able to mold the players in the AHL, and then once they're ready for the NHL, that Ducharme is able to continue that because it's of course quite the jump from still it's quite the jump from AHL to NHL. Sure.
What do you think there, Harry?
I can't speak on Bouchard because I don't watch the Laval Rocket right now.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What do you think of him as far as a development coach? How do you think he's doing developing the players right now? And let's say as opposed to the guy that was there before who did a sucky job at it.
He seems to be doing pretty good from what I can tell. I was about to bring up Romanov, but didn't get coached by Bouchard. Kind of came right into the NHL, right?
Yeah, no, he did not go to the AHL at all.
Yeah, but I mean, he does seem to be doing good. I mean, I was gonna say Suzuki and Kotkaniemi, but they came right to the NHL as well.
No,
but the guys
didn't.
No, wait.
Oh no, he didn't.
Suzuki did. KK got sent down last season, so he did. And Bouchard helped KK. I think Bouchard was a big reason why KK had his comeback in the RTP. And I think so. He had KK for 13 games, I think.
He had Suzuki for almost the whole season.
Who, Bouchard?
Yeah.
Where?
In Laval. Suzuki didn't make the team the first year. He made it the second year. KK made the year KK was drafted. KK made the team.
But
Suzuki
you're wrong.
Didn't.
No, but you're wrong. That year that he didn't make it, he went back to the OHL.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I didn't realize that. But
that's why I'm confused. He never. Suzuki has not played in the AHL. Suzuki probably never will play in the AHL.
Yeah, I think he could probably use a stint there.
Maybe, but I don't think he will. Okay, so since you're back from your pee break, what do you think of Bouchard, and what do you think about the possibility of maybe losing him to another NHL team as a head coach there in the NHL?
I don't know. I don't watch enough Laval. I mean, it's pretty hard to get where I'm at. I'm in the Maritimes. They don't show. I can get all kinds of Q games, so
doesn't mean you don't know about them.
To be honest,
what do you think of him? as a developmental coach, developing the Habs players, as opposed to Sylvain Lefebvre, who was there before.
I don't think he's been there long enough to really to show it. Really, like the only player that's what players come out of the AHL right now that's made an impact on the team that's played under him for any length of time. Evans, maybe.
Evans is a good point. Evans probably is the first one.
So,
and that's something. Evans, a 7th round pick. I mean, he developed him. That's pretty good. It says a lot for Evans too, as a player and all that. But still, you know.
But I don't think there's anyone that really has come up yet that he's had an opportunity to really work with for any length of time, other than Evans. Evans is the only one I can think of.
Well,
and
his KK short stint was good for him.
Yeah, but KK, even when he came back up, he didn't really do a whole lot. Remember, after return to play, like KK went back to Finland and stuff, right? Like
he got injured.
He worked with a lot of.
No, but you see, this is where you're wrong. This is what happened. And I don't mean to make it wrong. This is what happened. KK went down. He played 13 games. He got injured. That's the spleen problem. He went back to Finland. While he was there, he skated with a skating coach and guy that turns Finnish players who are struggling here in North America. He helps them turn that around, and their success rate goes way up. So he did that. So between Bouchard for those 13 games, and he responded to Bouchard, and what he did in Finland, then he came back to the RTP, and we saw that improvement.
But was it all Bouchard?
No, it wasn't. Because clearly one of his biggest problems was skating, and that work with the skating coach made a big difference in his game. But Bouchard gave him back his confidence, I think. I think Bouchard gave him back some of his confidence. I really think that. Well,
I remember when KK went down, like he was getting a ton of assists, but he wasn't scoring goals in the AHL, but he was getting a ton of assists, which he wasn't even doing that in the NHL. And all I remember from KK last year was getting very frustrated at how often and how easily he was knocked down and knocked off the puck. And when he came back in the return to play, that was not the case anymore.
That had a lot to do with his skating, I think, though.
Yeah.
Harry, you're shaking your head. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. One of his biggest problems was definitely the skating, and getting knocked off the puck. I saw that as well. I believe I mentioned that in a few of my streams last year that Kotkaniemi's skating was a bit of an issue with him getting knocked off the puck, like you said. But I think him also gaining 10, 15 pounds before the play, and I think that also kind of helps with that. And I think he gained an additional. Feel like it was like 20 or something crazy before this season, I think.
I don't know. I didn't hear that about 20, but I think a lot. I was reading where he's starting to learn how to use the body and that weight better with positioning and, how he's going into the boards against people and stuff like that. So I think it's a combination of all that. But I mean, he's growing into his body. I mean, so. Let's see. Hot Take's got another comment. Let's check him out. For young centers, either the guy has the top talent but not two-way responsibility to be a center, shift to wing, or he just isn't good and doesn't have the top talent. I think by 23 you can tell.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
I agree with that.
And it makes sense. So by 23, if he's not right for center, you shift him to the wing.
Yeah.
Right. If he's not good, well, he's not good enough. I mean,
basically Jonathan Drouin.
Could be.
Although I wouldn't mind seeing Drouin get another shot under Ducharme as maybe playing center and see how that goes under Ducharme and not Julian.
Say that I was looking at something. I didn't hear who you were talking about.
Drouin, to be honest with you, like the way he's been playing since Ducharme's taken over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get another shot at center.
You were telling me that for
because he's not playing in Julian's system anymore, and he may have the freedom that he kind of needs to be a top offensive talent in the center. But I don't know if it's not broke, don't fix it. He's having a half decent year. I just wish he'd shoot more and score more.
All right, let's. I think this will be the last topic here because we're getting almost 2 hours. Can you believe this? We've been doing this for almost 2 hours already. Wow. This team is built for the playoffs. Can we make it out of the North? What will we do if the Leafs actually win a series over our Habs? Who wants to tackle that first? You know what? I'm going to tackle that first. This team's definitely built for the playoffs. Can we make it out of the North? I think we can if the move, I think we need another defenseman. I don't think we necessarily need to bring in this game-breaking forward. I don't think there is one out there for them to get anyway. I think they can still make it out of the play. I called for it at the beginning of the season. I don't think they're as good as I thought they might have, or they didn't end up being as good. But I still think they can win the North. What will we do if the Leafs actually win a series over our Habs?
We'll go into panic mode.
John, close your ears. John, close your ears. I don't want you to hear this stuff. No, I think we're gonna freak the fuck out is what I think is gonna happen. That's what I think is gonna happen. Who wants to go next on this?
Shamir, we haven't heard from Shamir in a while.
Yeah, Shamir, go ahead.
Well, yeah, first part of that question, the team is definitely built for the playoffs. I mean, look at what the team was in the return to play, and look at what kind of result we put up. And we only made improvements over the off season, warts and all. I think that we can make it out of the North Division, but I think only just. I mean, I think we've just been inconsistent since the first 10 games. That part of the season, passed.
Definitely.
But it also depends as well if we go to a system of winning percentage or points percentage, because that's still a bit of an unknown depending on how long this might be shut down and how it affects other teams if they have to go into shutdown mode for a bit. And as to the last part, go into panic mode, and I don't know. We go under our beds for quite a long time, and I don't know when we get back out. From them.
Harry, what do you think of this? You didn't know. I went first. Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
I think we definitely have what it takes to make it out of the North. Any team that makes the playoffs in the North has what it takes. But in terms of just looking at the raw skill, I do think we have a lot of the depth. And like you both mentioned, you and Shamir, both mentioned, we definitely improved our team in the offseason. We only got better. Adding goal scoring into Foley, adding potentially Caufield, more potential goal scoring. Perry, Staal, the veteranosity that we kind of needed. Like you mentioned, Rick, I think the only thing we really do need to add is another defenseman with Schrott being out. Definitely think we have what it takes to make it out of the North. In terms of going past that from the conference finals to a cup final, depending on who we face, because then you're likely going to have to deal with the Tampa, Vegas, Colorado potentially, and that's not going to be fun. But
it's a different story. What do you think about how we'll react as Habs fans to a Leafs victory over Montreal?
Most of us, like you both mentioned, are going to panic. We're going to go into rebuild, fire Bergevin, because everyone immediately blames Bergevin for some reason. We're going to panic. Personally, I'm going to be a mix of incredibly panicked as, if we can't beat the Leafs, who can we beat? I'm also going to be obviously incredibly sad because I've never seen the Canadians get out of the first round of the playoffs. While I've been but
that sucks.
But I am also partly going to be happy, and here's why: because my best friend is a Leafs fan, so I'm going to be happy for her that hey, her team finally got out of the first round.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
So Harry, so if you don't mind my asking, how long have you been a hockey fan?
I don't mind you asking at all, Shamir. That's a great question. I've been a hockey fan since technically about 2016. I got in during that season where we went 9-0-1 to start the year, and then Price got injured, and then
Oh yeah,
The price
just
that
kind of fell off.
yeah. It went
The
downhill
part
from
that
there.
Dale Weiss forgot to mention in his tweet recently about the Habs getting off to such a good start and everything. It's just like, yeah, you left out one important part, from
Right,
from
I
that.
remember that.
Yeah, but it's a shame you didn't get to see at least the 2014 run. Damn you, Chris
Yeah.
Kreider. I mean, I'm sorry to all you other YouTubers out there who have been singing his praises, but sorry, I'm not going to be a Chris Kreider fan after what he
Yeah.
did.
I have a bit of a controversial opinion on that, actually. But first off, yeah, it's definitely a shame I wasn't a Habs fan. I came in just a bit too late to see that run. But I feel personally it was Emmeline's fault for tripping Kreider into Price. That's a bit of a hot take, I'm sure, but that's how I personally feel about that.
There's that run. There's 2 pictures autographed by the team from that run.
Oh, there. Okay. Behind you there.
Yeah.
So you weigh in here on this. What do you think? They make it out of the North, and the Leafs beating us.
I think it's going to take a 1993 type run where everything falls into our favor of matchups. I think that's what ultimately I think.
Even to get out of the North?
Yeah, I'm. Basically, we have what it takes to get out of the North. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Like,
okay. Me neither.
I'm not as worried about the Leafs as I am about Winnipeg. Like, Winnipeg's the team, and I even think Calgary, if they can get back in this thing.
Yeah, but that's not the question, though. That's not the question.
I know, but
Don't know
I'm
how.
not worried about the Leafs either that way exactly, but that wasn't the question. But yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, there's you know what? Listen, it's at this point still you could say that all 6 besides Ottawa, I mean, they still have a shot, right? It's going to be a tight race right to the end. How we thought it was going to be going in, it started out looking like, oh, it's not going to be like that. In the end, it's going to be this tight race right down to the wire. And so good point to say that whatever 4 teams make it into the playoffs, yeah, I think any one of them obviously is going to be able to come out of there. So there.
Do I really think, though, like, if we lose to the Leafs, I think that might actually cost Bergevin his job. Like,
good point. Yeah.
I think the media and the fan base would probably say, okay, that's it.
That would be the extra. That's just it. That's it. No
that's
way.
it, right? Like, I think that would Habs Leafs playoff. Habs Leafs Game 7 loss, and I think the city of Montreal might be burned down if it's to the Leafs.
if I could interject just for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't get why whenever something bad happens to Montreal, we immediately call for Bergevin to be fired.
I don't get it either. I don't want him to be fired. I think that might be actually what happens, though, because
it's because we're toxic. Habs fans do that, and that's what it is. That's what it's about.
But I mean, legit though, like, he's had a longer run at GM than most guys get. With a lack of success, right?
True.
Like,
that's why now. But I mean, this has been happening for a little while. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I just want to say this: Joey Russo, thank you for the dono. Some Joey Russo hype. If there's still anybody in the chat, he says, "Great job on the panel tonight, guys. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate that, and thank you for the dono. Really appreciate that." Okay, so listen, we're gonna call it here. This was really great. I want to thank, first of all, you 3 guys for joining me on this first. I don't even know what to call it. My first live cast. How's that? And I hope you guys will come back. You're all going to get invites. You know, Jeff's always going to be here. Shamir is always going to be here whenever he wants to. And Harry, that invite is going to be open to you too. So you're going to get the call. Don't be surprised this time. So
Thank you.
You guys out there, look for these to come out. We're going to do this more often. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank it's Scott D for the donation, 3 of them. Joey for the donation. I want to thank you guys. You guys are going down on the list to possibly for the giveaway. You might win that shirt behind me. Am I pointing? Yeah, I am actually pointing at it. The red one there, not the one that says Koivu. No, the other one. So that's the next thing given away for the donations. And what else did I want to say? Hopefully we're back Tuesday for a live stream. Saturday, so that's tomorrow, Saturday night hockey talk live stream. We'll be on as normal because there's no game. So hopefully you guys will check that out. The thumbnail will be out tomorrow. And what else do I want to say here? You can check out Harry Rice at Harry Rice on YouTube. Harry, where can they find you besides YouTube? You do Twitter? Or
they could find me on. Yeah, I do a little bit of Twitter occasionally.
Join his Discord.
I'm on Twitter at Harry Rice Hockey. Yeah, join the Discord if you wanna go on my channel. It's in the description of every stream and every video. It's pretty fun occasionally. Yeah, Twitter, Discord. That's pretty much where you can find me roaming nowadays.
Awesome. So head over to Harry's channel, check him out, hit the subscribe button, give him a subscribe, and make that if you like to. After the games are over and you're still, I want more Habs stuff, I'll head over to Harry's channel because he's going to be on talking hockey and I
recommend it.
Jeff's there all the time. Jeff's the one who told me about you, Harry. That's how so you can thank Jeff. And hopefully Harry will be one of the regular crew guys here in our network of Habs channels. And so Jeff, will be on the podcast as always. Shamir will be on the podcast. Shamir, what do you have a channel as well?
Yes. You can just type in my name, Shamir Ravji, Ravji, and you can find some of my videos there. I even give, or I attempt to give a defense of the barber pole jersey on there. I show off some of my other Habs jerseys. They're mostly the Centennial ones. You can find me on Twitter at Shamir Ravji, and on Instagram my handle is Shamrocks_shenanigans.
For Jeff, I can tell you Jeff doesn't want to be found, so you can't find Jeff anywhere.
Yes.
What you can do is you can go to Nova Scotia, you wander around a little bit, ask around. I think someone will point you in his direction. You'll find Jeff on the podcast with me, and I hope you'll find Jeff doing a lot of these things as the other guys. But I think I'm hoping.
I'm devoted to you, Rick.
Don't tell Jeff. Don't tell him. I haven't asked him yet to be on the live stream tomorrow. So, but don't tell him because I haven't asked him yet. So keep that a secret. And so you'll find Jeff hanging out with me somewhere. And then me, I've got my channel here. I've got you can get in touch with me at Talking Habs on Twitter. My email is in the description of every video. And don't forget to check out the podcast, A Couple of Guys Talking Habs. That link is also in the description. And that's it. We're going to no more boring you with all this stuff. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Really, we really appreciate it. All of us do. Stay safe out there. Peace out, you guys. See you next time. And I'll have more information about what we're going to be doing and the new direction for these kind of things on my channel. I'll put out a special video. Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully see you tomorrow at the live stream. Take it easy. Guys, don't leave. I'm going to end the broadcast. Don't leave. I don't think we go anywhere. And we'll have a talk. And see you all you guys out there in viewer land. See you next time. Bye, everybody.